very, very favorite people, well, we're down to one, but still, two of my very favorite people are here tonight, and we're ready to speak, but these ladies are amazing. They're just absolutely fantastic. They're smart, they're witty, talented, very easy on the eyes, if you know what I mean, guys. And both of these ladies are working through their Competent Communicator manual, and very close to season.
Yes.
How close?
I've got one more speech. Yay!
Very close to achieving that exalted title of Competent Communicator, like I did. First up is everybody's favorite California girl. She has a real gift for storytelling. Her words draw landscapes that are as vivid and unpredictable as a really good acid trip. Her speech is titled, All the Ice Cream. I'm really looking forward to seeing just what's down the rabbit hole. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome her.
Log 11. Excuse me, I've got to sneeze. See, I paused there, Bill. No, that's okay. All right. Log 11, May 5th, 2015. I walk amongst them in hopes that no one will realize that I have no idea what I'm doing. I've practiced their way of speaking, adorned myself as them, and studied what makes them funny. I've only been here 10 times, but I'm on my way to full immersion. So doing Funniest Person in Austin contest was not only a really big highlight in my life, but it was also one of the biggest learning experiences that I've had as a public speaker. And I'm here to report, people of Laughing Matters.
Laughing really matters.
And I have some things to share with you guys in hopes that some of the funniest people in here, and even if you don't even consider yourself that funny, doesn't matter, that some of you consider at least trying doing a stand-up at least once or twice in your lifetime, because there is a ton to learn. 3 things in particular I'm going to be speaking about is diversifying your writing, how stand-up can also help you with your body language, as well as overcoming fear of failure. So, one of the amazing and wonderful things about Toastmasters is that you have a captive audience for 5 to 7 minutes. I could spend half of my speech describing the beautiful cascading mountains that look like they're covered in a green coat that was thrown off of a giant who is meandering around, whatever, you get the idea. I can just continue to speak for an entire minute or two, and you guys would be wonderful and listen to every word I say, even if it doesn't really make sense or is that interesting. If you're doing stand-up, not so much. Most of the open mics that I've been to has either been primarily other comedians or drunk people, neither of whom are really great audiences. So you really have to, in your writing, just pare it down to the really important parts so you can do setup, punchline, and move on from there, because people have a very short attention span, and the less words sometimes, the better, and more punch you can pack, or more pack you can punch you can pack, whatever that word is saying is. The second part is doing your delivery. In my Toastmasters career, I have a little bit of a tendency as a public speaker to be a little hyper in my delivery. I think of it as a chihuahua who just ate a trough full of Pop Rocks. I get very excitable and I'm very, very animated, which doesn't necessarily translate very well when you're performing in front of comedians and drunk people. It can actually kind of scare your audience, as I had to learn the hard way. you guys all know, in stand-up, it's all about being relaxed and having a conversation with your audience and not being as theatrical as you can be, whether you're doing theater or acting or even doing Toastmasters. One night I was there and a guy, much like the comedian that Bill talked about, he went up on stage, his jokes took about 9 seconds, and then for about 30 seconds, he would awkwardly stand there. He would just look at his shoes or look at the ceiling, and let me tell you guys, he freaking killed it. I got up there, Chihuahua and Pop Rocks, and it did not go well, really at all. It was awful, but the wonderful thing I learned is that you actually end up surviving after a terrible, terrible, terrible experience on stage. Through doing stand-up, and I don't know if you guys are like me, I was kind of talking to Keith about this before. I'm one of those people, I like to fail in private, preferably. I really don't have that option in stand-up because the only way you're gonna know if anything that you're saying is actually funny is to say it in front of a room full of people into a microphone. You can think something is hilarious in your head, or maybe your man thinks it's funny, or your friends thinks it's funny. Doesn't mean an audience full of strangers is gonna think it's funny, again, at all. And it's really important to get to that point where, backtrack. It's really important to also have a good support system that's going to be there for you when you get off stage and you just want to crawl up in the fetal position on Mopac during rush hour. For example, I had one night that was particularly, I just felt emotionally beaten. It wasn't that people like literally threw things at me or tried to beat me. I just walked off stage just feeling battered, and I called my boyfriend and I said, "Hey babe, I just finished. How did it go?" It was painful. I just need a hug and ice cream. And when I got home, I had a wonderful support system who gave me a giant hug and said, "You get all the ice cream!" And he had actually gone out and bought not just one, but 3, and not cartons, tubs. 3 tubs of ice cream, a bunch of my favorite candy, and a watermelon. All of it was gone within probably a day and a half. It was all delicious. And through a hug and tons of ice cream, I was able to prevail and continue doing my stand-up. So I have no idea where I'm going with doing stand-up. I have no idea what I'm doing or where it's going to go or what it's going to bring to me. But I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm really learning a lot about not only my speaking style, but myself as a person. And I hope that this kind of encourages some of you guys to consider at least failing with me once or twice. Log 12, May 15th, 2015. I have spread the word of how stand-up can improve your writing, delivery, and ability to fail without wanting to die. In hopes that some in this room full of hilariously talented people will give stand-up a try. I think it was a success, but only time will tell. Thank you.